Program rolling in 3, 2, 1. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Appreciate you folks that are already tuning in this afternoon. We're going to be talking about concerns. Make no mistake about it, we're now roughly 9 months plus or minus a few days, plus a few days, 9 months, a little bit over 9 months until the 2024 election. So it is coming up rather quickly. And what we're going to be talking about today is concerns. If your guy doesn't win, that is what we're going to be talking about. Doesn't matter which side of the aisle you tend to support. What is your biggest concern if the opposition is victorious? In other words, if you support Trump and Biden gets reelected, what's your biggest concern in regards to 4 more years of Biden? If you support Biden and Trump ultimately gets reelected, what is your biggest concern regarding 4 more years of Trump? Make no mistake about it, no matter which side you're going with, the opposition has a real chance of winning. This can absolutely happen without a shadow of a doubt. So what are your biggest concerns in regards to who prevails later this year? That's what we're going to be talking about today. You know how the program is ran. It is and always will be MAGA friendly in its entirety. MAGA has always been my preferred guest from the very beginning, and it certainly always will be. That's how we run the program. It has always been ran in an uncensored format, always will. So when you're in the box, whether you agree with the host or not, nobody gives a damn. It's all about free speech. So talking about how do you feel about the possibility that your opposing candidate could win? Big dog. Yeah! Thank you for the hat mustache. Caught me off guard with that. Thank you. So looking in the comments right off the bat, Sweetie says, go Trump. Well, we will see how that goes in regards to go Trump. But if that's the case, if you are singing Trump 2024 from the heavens, what is the biggest concern if Trump doesn't win? For instance, what happens if Biden is your president going forward? What's your biggest concern if Biden gets reelected? Look it in the comments real quick. He's ripped the ACA. Maybe Trump will rip something else. Wait a minute, something else helpful. You know, I heard someone suggest that their biggest desire to see Trump get reelected is to get rid of the immigrants. So what is your biggest concern for the opposition? That's what we're going to be talking about. Going straight to the box. Appreciate you folks that are already tapping the screen. We'll start it out with the one and only Moo, the tuxedo cat. Now, if I'm correct, Moo, you don't really have a dog in this hunt at all. You don't really favor Biden or Trump, correct?
I mean, I don't like either of them. I would rather have Biden, especially considering the circumstances with AI going on right now. I definitely don't want Trump in office.
What about, you're talking about artificial intelligence. What concerns you about AI with Trump in office?
So the thing is within any day now, you're going to have AGI, which is going to be an artificial intelligence that's smarter than every human on the planet. That's literally going to come any day now. To have such a man in office when such a technology emerges is extremely dangerous. You're talking about something that's going to have an IQ around 190. And, you know, if he tries to possess something like that, that's going to be maybe ultimate destruction. You know? So
what do you what do you mean? You're suggesting that Trump may use AI against who? His own people in this country, abroad, overseas? What do you suggest?
Whoever he hates, whoever he wants to go after, he would most definitely try to use that technology to target people he doesn't like.
In what way?
He might end up killing us all with it.
Damn, you really have a low opinion of Trump. In what way do you think he would use that technology against his enemies, so to speak?
Well, Well, it's hard to tell. I mean, when you're talking about something with an IQ of 190, you're probably talking about being able to break any type of encryption in the world. You're talking about a thing that's going to be better than any human, at least right now, any digital task that you can think of. So imagine the greatest hacker in the world at your fingertips times a billion.
Okay, but how do you respond to folks who suggest that what you're talking about is just conspiratorial? Because in the comments, I think Ian says he needs to stop smoking the lettuce. How do you respond to folks who think what you're saying is just a wild conspiracy?
Well, yeah, I'm dealing with country bumpkins, right? These are not people who are up on AI. MAGA doesn't know shit about AI, nor do they know how far along we are, right? I don't know if you guys saw Sora that just came out. OpenAI released a model called Sora. It's text to video. You can literally make anyone do anything at this point. All you have to do is type in a couple words, and you can no longer tell the difference, okay? It's that good at this point. So I don't know if you've seen that yet.
No, I have not.
Don't realize how far along we are.
Yeah, but but hold on. But
in fact, I suggest all of chat takes a look.
I don't disagree with that. But in regards to your interpretation of Trump, we had Trump in office for 4 years. He didn't come across as Dr. Evil, did he?
Sure he did. Yeah. He was locking children up, separating them from their families. He wanted to ban all Muslims. He always talks about throwing Hillary Clinton in jail, Obama in jail. He's a monster, man. If he gets a hold of something like that, I mean, you can just kiss your ass goodbye, right?
Wow. But you know they're going to bring up that Obama was also separating families and putting kids in cages.
You can. Yeah, Obama wasn't a Nazi who tried to overthrow an election, right?
Yeah, your audio's going in and out. So, I mean, you really see Trump as just an evil human being. I mean, I'm just going to say it flat out. You appear to think that Trump is a threat to humanity, sounds like.
He grapes women. Yeah, he's a threat. He grapes women. People, so understand that anybody in your chat saying go Trump, they're rooting for a rapist, right? They're okay with that. They're okay with him assaulting women. They're okay with him grabbing them by the hoo-ha. These are the scummiest people in America.
Okay, real quick in the comments, just to bring this up. I mean, I know what you're talking about, but folks in the comments are saying, what the hell does grape women mean? Understand there's an algorithm that goes above what we're talking about. I don't censor anyone, but a lot of folks believe that if you use the R word too often, the app will start banning you. So they call it grape. Just take the damn G off and you'll know what he's talking about. You do see Trump as a grapist.
Yeah, absolutely. The courts ruled against him. He is a rapist, and now he has to pay tons and tons of money because he did what he did. It doesn't matter if it's a civil court, right? The dude still committed rape. It doesn't matter what court it is. He's found guilty and has to pay tons of money because he essayed a woman, and MAGA is fine with that.
Well, you do realize they don't believe that. They think the courts are being weaponized against Trump and that he never had a chance from the moment he entered the courtroom.
So it's not my fault that they are morons who don't believe a court ruling, right? That's not my problem. That's their problem. And I'm not going to try to convince them because I don't care that they don't care. They're the lowest people in America. Right?
Wait. Let me make sure I repeat. You're suggesting that MAGA is the lowest people in America?
Yes.
Why? What has MAGA done that's that bad?
Well, so do you support grape?
No, I do not.
Okay, there you go, right? Because you're an upstanding human being and you have a sense of morality. Well, they're lacking that, right? Well, there you go.
So if Trump gets reelected, you see him using AI against the people. Is there any other concerns? I mean, that's a pretty bad one, but is there any other concerns that you have if Trump becomes president come January of next year?
Sure. Yeah, he's going to bring people in like Steve Bannon, who wants the final war between Muslims and Christians. He said that out loud. I think he's even written a book on it. So, don't say I'm making shit up because he says it freely all the time.
But wait a minute, hold on, Moo. One of the biggest accolades that folks give Trump is the fact that there are very few global conflicts when he's in office. You make it sound like if he gets reelected, there's going to be more war.
So he almost started a war. I don't know what you're talking about. The
Well,
dude literally almost started a world war with Iran. He took away the deal, which almost started a war with Iran. Afghanistan was still going on when he's in office. You got all kinds of shit going on in Africa. I mean, I don't even know what you're talking about. There were fewer conflicts. Maybe the news wasn't talking about it as much, so you think that there were fewer conflicts, but that's not true.
so you believe there were just as many conflicts during the Trump administration, if not more, than there are right now?
Listen, you've had perpetual wars since I've been alive, right? We've always been somewhere. We've always been in somebody's business. Whether the news is reporting on it or not, that's their business. But that doesn't mean there was no conflicts. That just means the corporate media wasn't talking about it.
Okay, but Boo, you do realize we're talking about Russia. That's not just, I hear you on Iran. I hear him threatening to destroy North Korea. I get it, but we're talking about Russia being at war with us, proxy wise.
Okay. Well, that's a proxy war, right? We're not actually there. We don't have troops there, right? So that's a bit different. But I mean, the way he's going to end that war is he's just going to give it to Putin, right? That's why he says, I will end that war on day one. Well, yeah, he's going to end it on day one. He's going to pull all our resources out of Ukraine, and he's going to let Putin have it. And he'll let Putin have whatever else he wants if he wants to go after something else, too. That's how he'll end it.
So you do see this guy as a genuine Dan. Wow, this is... Hopefully if Trump is reelected again, hopefully you're wrong, because the picture you're painting is pretty damn grim, Moo. It's pretty damn grim.
Yeah, it's bad, dude. This is one of the most, again, you have one of the biggest discoveries in technological history. You have AGI any day now, and you have a potential Nazi who's going to be president. It's like literally one of the worst times to have a dumbass like Donald Trump running for office.
All right, you definitely drove my audience wild, particularly on YouTube. Moo, always welcome back on the program. You always bring your passion. Anytime, come on back through. Thank you.
You have a good one, my dude.
You
Love
too.
the show.
You too. Thank you. And that is Moo, folks. Let me make it clear to you, folks, particularly my beloved MAGA that favors Trump. Understand, we're going to have plenty of MAGA callers on the program because we do run a program that is uncensored. Obviously, my last guest did not have any love for the Donald, but there's going to be plenty of folks just like in the comments, such as Anthony Rivers, who says Trump 2016, Trump 2020, Trump 2024, Trump 2028 with a laughing emoji. I don't know if one president can operate 4 terms. So when Trump says, I want to be a dictator, it sounds like Anthony has already given him the credit. Did he say Nazi? What a tool, says Brad Leach on YouTube. Yes, he did. That is exactly what he stated. Real quick, before I go back to the next caller, tap the screen to my TikTok viewers. Nearly 1,000 of you in here. Feel free to tap the screen. Get your boy likes up to 15,000. I always ask that you tap the screen. Certainly those on YouTube, feel free to smash the like button because it does help out the algorithm. Program is MAGA oriented, so it brings in more MAGA, but we don't censor, so you're going to hear liberals as well. We go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. Looking in the comments, this is for nothing. We all know Trump will lose, says Christina. No one knows that. Are you out of your mind? There is absolutely no guarantee at all that Trump will lose. Remember, they thought they would have made that same statement early in 2016. There's no guarantee of that. Going back to the box, Trump has a hell of a lot of fans. He absolutely could win whether you want him to or not. Going back to the box, we'll keep the program moving with AB Bullies. Good afternoon. Bullies is the name. I always like the unique names. Alpha Bravo Bullies. If the box lets him come out, we'll give it a moment. People voted him out. They be crazy to vote for him. Well, the counter argument is that they voted Biden in, and a hell of a lot of people are not happy with Biden. So you could see a resurgence of Trump simply because Biden has become an unpopular president with so many people. Bullies, yeah! By the way, Grandma, thanks for the hat and mustache. Bullies, good afternoon. Welcome to the program.
Well, hi there. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. We're talking about biggest concerns if your opposing candidate happens to be victorious in November? Now, do you lean right or left?
I kind of ride independent. I got my own brain thoughts. I mean,
Okay, let's go with that. Let's go with that. 2020, who did you vote for?
Trump.
2016, Trump versus Hillary.
Trump.
Okay, so 2024, if it's a rematch, Biden versus Trump, where you going?
Oh, Trump.
What is your biggest concern if Biden wins?
Well, I mean, I know it's a big concern that I've got a lot of beliefs. I've been watching what's going on. I actually think we've been watching a big TV show. That's the way I'm leaning anyways. Things have been written. I mean, just like everything that's happened since even when Trump was president, up to COVID and everything. I mean, if you can't read this, you don't need to be watching TV trying to guess the ending.
Well, let me ask you that. If we're watching a big TV show, what is the name of the show we're looking at?
Cleaning house.
You're talking about like thinning the herd, so to speak? A great reset?
You keeping your people from destroying everything by applauding what's going on in front of us on the TV show, keeping everybody's minds where it needs to be. Like everybody's getting buffaloed, both sides.
Yes, it's interesting you said that because on YouTube, Blue Don said we're fucked either way. Do you see any validity into that? Like society may be fucked no matter which one of these guys prevail?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it this way, United States Incorporation is bankrupt. So all we're doing is we're getting buffaloed and blindsided while somebody else takes over the new incorporation. All these people coming in is because this is a shift of power, and this is what I see. This is what I see, and everybody is blind. They got all these sheep because CNN and everything is posting and showing the movies. It's all a bunch of TV show. It's ridiculous. They're going back on crime, 7 years on Trump, this and that. It's a good TV show. I mean, I'm pulling for Trump because obviously I was doing better under the gas, the food. Let me say.
You favored his economy. His economy was better than Biden's.
Well, we were energy efficient. I mean, we had our own oil. I mean, let's stop the pipelines and let's open up a train track to haul the oil from place to place. Let's spend $1 million in Russia on oil. Come on. And then we're going to play another country to refine it and send it back to us. Oh, come on. I mean.
So let me ask though, because we know if Trump gets back in and he's suggesting we, stop getting involved in the Ukrainian-Russian war, are you okay with the Ukrainians being decimated by Russia?
If they're getting decimated. If this wasn't planned to start with.
Well, what do you at this point?
All over the world, if you think about it, since 2020, we've been in war. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
This is a silent war, communication war, the religious war, the separation of people war, unbalance of the whole world. Right now is the best time for anything. I mean, and think about it. They're talking about we're changing currency. Well, you know why we're changing currency? Because we're probably changing hands. I mean,
so wait. So in other words, you're suggesting that America is on the cusp of losing its superpower status.
Oh, well, I mean, let's say Russia, China, and all them went to the BRICS Bank. Okay? They're not trading in American dollars anymore.
Okay.
This is all this shuffle of money going here and there and all this other. To me, it's a big show. There's a swap of power. There's a swap of hands. This has all been forecast and told in a story all the way through it, and that's all I can see. Is there this all the immigrants coming over, all these immigrants coming over, one saying, oh, there ain't, one saying there is. I mean... So other than Trump's economy, it doesn't sound like you feel really confident no matter which one of these guys win. I'm hoping for God's sake. I mean, as far as, people talk about Christianity, I'm not going to say that I'm a holy roller jumper, but as far as his morals and as far as how they care about life, that's the way I'm leaning. Joint people getting together, and the race stuff. I mean, this race stuff got brought up when George Floyd got supposedly murdered on the street, which I don't even believe that's true. I believe it's all everybody, because if you pay attention to all the evidence and watch and you keep your eyes open and pay attention to everything, when they showed the videos of George Floyd, every shot there was a different camera angle. Okay, at one shot there was people, should have been two people standing there with a cell phone. There was not.
But wait a minute, he's on. Wait, hey Bullies, the guy is on the guy's neck for 9 minutes. Any idea why he was doing it? Why would a cop sit on somebody's neck for 9 minutes or 8 minutes or whatever it was?
Well, if you're posing for a camera or so many camera shots, what would you be doing?
So you're suggesting that the arresting officer was deliberately posing for camera shots on George Floyd's body?
Yes, but let me ask you this. Did you do the autopsy?
No, but it sounds like, if what you're saying is correct, if
you're going on by what you see and what you hear, not what you didn't pay attention.
No, wait a minute, Bullies. I'm going by what you just said. If a cop sat on somebody for 9 minutes to pose for the cameras, as you stated, that alone is worth prison time. I don't need to see an autopsy based on what you said.
No, you're getting me wrong, though. Listen to me. You're telling me that they seen him on George Floyd, and you took a pulse while his neck was...
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Listen, I'm not going to censor or limit you in any way. I'm going to let you speak, but I want to make sure I'm getting clarity. I asked you, why would a cop sit on somebody for 9 minutes? You said he was posing for the cameras. After that, I don't need to see an autopsy. I don't need to see camera angles. Based on what you are saying, that man should be in prison.
I understand that, but you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you didn't see a dead body, period. Okay? What I'm saying is this was brought up at the right time. The clips come out, and they took them down right as soon as they came down. Both the guys knew each other. They're actors. Let me tell you, this goes on a lot deeper than this. Goes on. Like, this is bringing up stuff to cause racist conflict. And this is what I'm saying. Even at his funeral, he showed up to his funeral, but if you looked, it was a closed casket. The guy was a gorgeous... I mean, if you just see his picture, he was a good-looking guy. Okay. Why would the casket be closed? He wasn't mutilated.
So are you saying that Derek Chauvin, the officer that was on his neck, was an actor doing this to create racism?
Yes.
Why? He's in prison for 20 years, Bullies. Why would he participate in that?
So you see him in prison?
You think he got stabbed in prison, Bullies? He actually got... You think that's made up too?
You see it?
Do you realize how much stuff goes on and you and I don't see? Do you believe that anything you don't see is made up?
No, it's just if you watch all the videos they showed on it, even when the ambulance pulled up there, when they all got out of the back of the ambulance, there was no ambulance person. That they were all police uniforms getting out of the back of the...
Okay. So at the end of the day, you don't believe Derek Chauvin killed George Floyd. You don't believe Derek Chauvin is currently incarcerated. You don't believe Derek Chauvin was even stabbed. Am I correct?
And do you believe that...
Wait, you didn't answer the question.
Yes.
Okay.
That's the kind of way I'm leaning. I mean, I know it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And everybody,
yeah, it does a bit.
Conspiracy theories.
I don't deny it. It's very conspiratorial. I do got to move it on, but you certainly have been a very interesting guest. Always welcome to come back.
Debunking. I've just seen some debunking that proves some things to me. It brought to me, and then as soon as you see them, they take them down.
Okay. Listen.
So I'm confused as if this is all a... I'm sorry, I'm not trying to intrude. I just wanted to finish my thought. I don't want to rub nobody's feathers and think I'm crazy. It's just, when you see enough's enough. I mean, COVID, you didn't see the mass parade of deaths funerals. I mean, this stuff on a pandemic. The flu virus totally disappeared while the COVID was here.
Wow. Well, Bullies, listen.
I got to ask first.
Listen, you're an incredibly interesting caller. Unfortunately, I got to move it on because we're way off topic. But anytime you see me on, feel free to come back. You know I don't censor. Wow, you got a lot to say. I'd like to talk to you again in the future, but I do got to move it on.
Okay, I will. But one more thing.
Real quick.
Look at an insurrection. If I was going to do an insurrection, I wouldn't do it with flags and cameras. That's one thing I seen you talking on the other day, and that's why you got me talking. I go back on all our conversations. Asperger's, it's a memory thing, and I kind of see it and run it through. But I will get back with you. I watch you all the time.
Thank you. Appreciate the support. You're always welcome back. Looking in the comments real quick, I believe it was Tyler. Thank you for that subscription. I saw the name pop up. I do want to say thank you for that. And the comment moved by real quick. Understand, folks, as I stated earlier, this is an uncensored format. We do have a simulcast on YouTube. So, but the program is originating from TikTok. So for you folks who are tuned in on YouTube, feel free to smash that like button for my YouTubers. Program will remain MAGA friendly. Nearly 1,000 of you here on TikTok. Definitely tap the screen. Get your boy likes up to around 30,000. You know what we solicit every day. It helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. Looking in the comments, what is that? Says Deb says, boo TikTok. Well, TikTok allows us to run the program in this format. So Deb, appreciate your support on YouTube. Where is the phone number to call in? It's coming from TikTok. Work peeps. So that's how the program is ran. Feel free to smash that like button if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any concern at all of the host trying to block, ban, or censor you. You are in the right place. We're here Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central. Feel free to drop a subscription or smash that follow button on TikTok. Going back to the box, the whole purpose of the live stream. What concerns you most if the presidential candidate of your choice is not elected? In other words, if you are a Biden supporter and we get 4 more years of Trump, what are your biggest concerns? If you are a Trump supporter, one of my beloved MAGA, if you get 4 more years of Biden, what are your biggest concerns? That is what we're discussing today. Going straight back to the box, appreciate you folks that are tapping the screen. We'll go straight to Bible Ryan. I can't run from the Bible. We absolutely got to talk to anyone that follows the deity. The box is looking like it's acting up. Bible Ryan, can you hear me? Bible Ryan.
1085 for one.
Okay, unfortunately, it looks like the caller I brought on is working, so we'll go ahead and drop that caller and move on. We'll go to another caller. That happens sometimes. There's a hell of a lot of folks waiting to get to the program, so sometimes by the time we get to the individual, they are gone. Crystal, I don't know what the hell's happening here. We'll go straight to Airwolf. Enjoyed the 1980s television show. Having a lot of trouble on TikTok. Real quick in the comments, it ain't great now, so I don't quite get what you're saying there. A lot of Americans are moving abroad. That's always been the case, though, hasn't it? Are they moving abroad because of the Biden administration or something else? Having some serious difficulties with the box. That was George Floyd tapping in. So George Floyd is still with us, says my last caller. Is George Floyd still alive? Now, I've heard that he lost his life from other ways, but now it's the first I've ever heard that George Floyd was an actor and he is still currently in the land of the living. I'm not delaying. I'm trying to bring up guests, but the box is acting flaky here on TikTok. Darren Styles, good afternoon.
What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing real good. Right off the bat, we'll go straight into the subject. What concerns you most if the presidential candidate you're hoping win in November does not get elected?
I think it's the end of democracy if Biden continues. I've never seen, well, this is 3 years of Biden and have So
Hold on, Darren, your audio is going in and out. I don't know if you're moving away from your device or what, but your audio is going in. And I'm hearing that you believe if Biden is reelected, you believe that's the end of democracy.
done.
Keep
I
going.
think he's compromised. It's just so funny, all the different conspiracies. What we learned in the last couple of years, every conspiracy has a truth behind it, right? It's almost kind of like a lie. Every lie has a truth behind it. And you're talking about the Hunter laptop was hidden from us for a couple of years now. And little by little, you start seeing the country having a fast pace of migrants. It's replacing. It's just like, let's go back to early 1900s, right? You had the immigrants coming in from Ellis Island. So you had predominantly mostly European, Italians, you had Germans, Irish, generations passed. Obviously, from being immigrants, they became part of society, and they also rose society. Same thing with Black America. Most of my friends, I actually want to make sure everybody understands this. People are waking up. Every one of the immigrants that came out in the early 1900s now have decades of educated. Each decade got better and better and smarter.
So I don't quite get the point you're making, though.
Like, we are so much smarter. Like, Black America. Finally, when I am so proud to be an American, I see people speak up. You're talking about Cat Williams, 50 cents. You can't shut these people up because you can't buy them. It's always the power of the dollar. The person that's the weakest can be bought.
So what does what you're saying have to do with the end of democracy or Biden? I'm lost. Help me catch up.
Look at it this way, right? Already in New York, I'm from New York City. They're trying to get migrants, illegal migrants, to vote. Obviously, thank God we have some kind of judicial system that it didn't pass, but they're trying to appeal it. So therefore, if you start looking how you can control people, the only people you control are people that are misinformed. The only people you control that don't have anything that can be bought. So you could bring in a whole new generation of quote-unquote immigrants into the country, and it represses the wealth of the country. They don't want to hear from people like you and I. We have certain thoughts and we have certain education that they don't really want normal people to have. That's why we have censorship. That's why it's always the battle of the networks. The major networks that Trump keeps on calling fake news is fake.
Well, wait a minute. When you say fake news, on January 6th, Janine Pirro said that whole thing was sparked on by Antifa. Is Fox News one of the fake news corporations?
I think, to a degree, all news media is having a script, and regardless of some people who go off the script, it still has that same agenda. The research that I do is having my own critical thinking.
What about President Trump himself? Like, when he's questioning, he says things like he never knew who Stormy Daniels was, or he's never ever met E. Jean Carroll, the one that just won this big rape claim against him in civil court. Is he fake news?
To the degree, everybody is fake.
Okay,
everybody has their own agenda.
Then who can you trust?
Nobody. That's the way life is. You know the old answer. You trust nobody. You give a person the ability to be trusted, but if they despise you, I don't trust Trump. I don't trust Biden. I'm not hanging out with them. They're not part of my family.
So
if I'm looking for economics and a certain culture that I know America is about, I'm going for Trump. There's no reason why we should have all these illegals. Like I said, I'm in New York. I see this on a daily basis. You're talking about they're invading it, they're destructing it, and they're not even getting any type of penalties. They're beating up cops, they're killing people. This is not what we're made out of. We're civil in it, well, more civil. No, I can't say civil. We're a little more civil than a third world country.
So let me make sure I'm getting this clear. So in other words, you basically believe Trump is a lesser of two evils, but you've even stated yourself that Trump is not trustworthy.
Trustworthy? I can't trust somebody I personally don't know. Whatever is perceived on media or on any type of television program, I can't really say 100% if it's true or not true, because I haven't witnessed with my own eyes.
Wow.
What is perceived, when you start seeing the news and then data, like, you start searching the internet, January 6th, you're talking about documents that was presented by the mayor to turn down the National Guards. Nancy Pelosi did the same exact thing. The police commissioner coming out with information How come that's not being divulged? How come that's being shut down? And then when you bring it up, you're a conspiracy theorist.
Well, let me just say this. In regards to January 6th, I'm still pushing for what led Trump 2 days, 2 months, 2 months and 2 days after the 2020 election to go there and tell the folks that the election had been stolen from him. I don't see where he had that much evidence only 2 months after that election to suggest he had won by a landslide and it was stolen from him. I don't even see it now. And it's been 3 years later. What led him to go and tell those people that on January 6th?
This way. You're talking about Joe Biden. Let's just lay it down. Joe Biden got more votes than Barack Obama. You have to remember, Barack Obama...
So did Trump.
But I understand that. But let me get to my point first. The reason why Barack Obama did so well is for many reasons. He speaks very well. 2, he made history, the first black American president. 3rd one, it was the boom of the internet. So he used that platform. I'm a marketing guy. When I see that all over the internet, it all collectively helped. Obviously, Trump now, what was that, 8 years later? You know, the same exact thing with the internet. Plus, he was already a face that America knew. Being in TV shows, being a multi-billionaire, and especially throughout the whole entire country, he has a brand.
But Darren, wait a minute, Darren, I asked you what evidence did Trump have on January 6th, 2 days and 2 months and 2 days after the election to say the election was stolen? I'm not hearing that from you yet.
I can't give an answer for that because of one thing. I don't know the connects that Trump has. Obviously, you know, Trump is a...
Darren, it's been 3 years. The man has been holding rallies the entire time, continuing to tell people the election was stolen. Why don't we have the evidence yet? 3 years later, why don't we have that evidence?
Didn't Georgia just come out recently with 190,000 votes for Trump and try to bring up to the DA's office, which is who? Fannie. Right.
Yeah, but here's the problem, though. For every instance or issue with Democrats that look like they were cheating, I'm going to counter with the fake electors of Arizona, Georgia, and Wisconsin. There is Republican cheating as well. So we know there was cheating on both sides. What I'm saying is, where is the evidence that Trump won by a landslide?
The write-in ballots. That was the first time a massive write-in ballots were given. The only time I ever heard about a write-in ballot, I'm going to be 49 years old, is if you're disabled or you're overseas in the army.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. But
writing about that people voted once, twice, 3 times, deceased people.
But you didn't hear what I said, though, Darren. We're talking about write-in ballots and folks doing all this. You do realize fake electors are literally trying to steal an entire state. When they're trying to change the electoral college votes for Georgia or Arizona or Wisconsin, they are stealing an entire state. We're talking that there is documented evidence on both sides that people were cheating. So I come back to the original question. Where is the evidence Trump won by a landslide?
There is no evidence. But the greatest thing about America, you have the freedom of speech to believe whatever you want.
Yeah.
What's the evidence to say that Joe Biden actually won? It's always a question. You see, the problem is, I think we're all on the same page. We lost the trust in our government.
I can give you several answers to your last question. Where is the answers that Joe Biden actually won? Trump's own top cop, Trump's own vice president are saying that Biden won. Everybody that investigated the election itself are saying that Biden won. Nearly 60 judges are saying that Biden won. Hell, even the Supreme Court disagrees with Trump. I don't know anyone, not a single election officer that's not saying Biden won. How much evidence you need?
So all the different people who didn't get arrested and got caught as far as stuff in the ballots or throwing out ballots, that's invalid?
I'm telling you, everyone that investigated... Hold on.
That is straight on TikTok. When he was counting, there was a dude throwing it behind his back and ripping it up.
Okay.
Arizona Live, which they censored, were given markers in Arizona. It was live on Facebook and TikTok.
Okay.
And then other people were coming with actual pens, and the cops would tell them to leave or they'd be arrested.
Here's where here's Darren, and I'm gonna have to move it on, but I don't want to limit you. But I do want to say this. Here's where I think the problem is. When you see Democratic cheating, you hold Democrats accountable and you point it out. But when you see Republicans cheating, you don't give it the same credibility. That way it does look like Trump won because you're only focused on the Democratic cheating. Someone on YouTube mentioned 2,000 mules. They did the exact same thing. But there is documented fraud coming from the Republican Party too. So it goes back to that original question. How do we know Trump won by a landslide? Where is the evidence?
I'm not Trump's lawyer, but I just can't see Joe Biden, the guy that got the most votes in American history, is now has the lowest approval rate in American history. The guy's a zombie. He never was qualified in the first place.
Yeah.
He was a laughingstock in '86. Every year he ran for presidency. He was a laughingstock. The words that comes out of his mouth, if another man said that to me face to face, that's going to be a problem when he talks about people. Then he's going to change his whole entire identity.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Don't vote for me. You're not black. How disrespectful for every American for hear that.
Let me tackle some of that. Now you said vote for me or you ain't black is disrespectful. How about vote for me if you like tennis shoes? Is that disrespectful to you?
I don't know what Trump actually said that when he came out with his shoe line.
Yeah. How about if because I got a mugshot, you're more likely to vote for me because I've been charged with a crime? Is that disrespectful to you?
I think what's disrespectful is when you have a candidate like a Joe Biden.
You didn't answer the question, Darren. You're deflecting to Biden. You didn't answer that question.
I can't listen. I'm not the mouthpiece for Donald Trump. He does that.
But wait a minute, Darren, you clearly are the mouthpiece to Biden. You're pointing out bad Biden statements that we all agree with you on. But when I give you Trump statements, you're suddenly not the mouthpiece for him.
I don't agree how Donald Trump conducts himself as a president itself. I look by what he's done as far as the paper.
All right, that's
what he said. Do I want the president of the United States to go on TV? I'm smacking my head every 2 seconds saying, why would he say something like that?
Well, if you didn't smack your head in regards to vote for me or if you ain't got a mugshot, I mean, vote for me or you ain't black. A lot of blacks held Biden accountable for that suspicious statement.
I'm just so tired of America to be separated by ignorance. It's over. It should be done. There's no difference between you and I because our skin color is different. We bleed the same blood. We have a lot of the same beliefs and cultures that most people don't even have a conversation to realize.
Yeah, fair enough. Darren, I do got to move it on.
I have a similar story that could also be comparable.
I do got to move it on, though, Darren. Look, you're always welcome back, but I gave you plenty of time. Come on back through the program. You know how we do.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I'll be following you for sure.
Appreciate that. Thank you for the support, Darren. Real quick in the comments, I saw someone said something on YouTube that I certainly wanted to tackle. And I do appreciate the numbers on YouTube. I haven't seen them like this. Nearly 500 of you on YouTube. Wow. Looking in the comments on YouTube, Systemic by Design stated, civil war on the horizon. By way of yes or no in the comments, how many folks out there, if you believe it, what Systemic is saying, yes in the comments, how many folks out there believe we are on the cusp of civil unrest up to and including a civil war? How many of you folks think we're really close to that? That's got to be frightening for us all. I don't care how many firearms you have in your house, how much training, how many members of the militia are on your side, we all lose in a civil war. Even if your side win, the America that is left behind is going to be worse. Not to mention our status as a superpower is over with. Because if we're all fighting each other, that's a clear green light to China, Iran, North Korea, Russia. Do whatever the hell you want. They're out of control in America. They don't have any unity. This is the time to act. So even if your side wins in a civil war, you lose. You will be a poorer American. You will have less freedoms. America will not be the same, and you won't like it. Even if you hate the Biden administration, you'll be longing for the day of how you lived under Biden than how you're living now after a war is over with. Not to mention, we all will sustain casualties. So, doesn't matter what side you're on, you're going to know people in your family that are going to die. That's just how it works. Looking in the box, I can't post my answer why. This is an uncensored program. I would love to know your answer. But let me go back to the box. What concerns you most if your candidate does not win? That's what we're talking about, because that's what we're looking at potentially in 9 months. Real quick, just to continue the program for my TikTok users, 900 plus of you in here, tap the screen. I invite you to get your boy likes up to around 50,000. Helps out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA. For my YouTube viewers, smash that like button as always. If you do enjoy this type of civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, without any worry that the host is going to try to block, ban, or censor you, because it's all about free speech here, feel free to click the subscription button, because this is what we do Monday through Friday, 1 p.m. Central. Our country will fall, says Cake. 100% agree with that sentiment. Going back to the box, we're going to go to Texas. The name says it all. Governor Greg Abbott in Texas makes headlines almost daily nowadays. Texas, good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not too much. How do you, just so I can weigh your political aspirations, what do you think of Governor Greg Abbott in Texas?
I don't like some of the things he does, but I'm tired of him being in there.
So you don't want Governor Abbott to continue being the governor of Texas?
No, I think that, I agree with term limits, and, I think his time is up. I think he's done some good things. He's also neglected on some other issues and stuff, but
how do you feel about his relentless protection of the border in your state?
Well, I think it's come to light to a lot of people, but he's been doing it before Trump was in office. It's been an issue, and that's what gets painted with a broad brush. People say, oh yeah, this issue's been going on, so it's not that important, or people are politicizing it. I mean, our DPS gets sitting down there when new DPS officers, state troopers, they have to do.
Yeah, but you're suggesting that he protected the border. And by the way, TikTok ref, yeah, thank you for the added mustache. You're not telling me how you feel about it. Do you think he's doing a good job protecting the border?
I agree with him, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just explaining it because a lot of people, like, even yesterday I was listening to your show, and you misspeak on a lot of points, and I think it's a lack of knowledge, right?
Okay, what did I misspeak on?
Well, you were saying, these other countries, they need to maybe, I think you were suggesting, like, why don't they stop people at their borders, like Mexico, Venezuela, things like that. It's not that easy, right? If you're aware of the situations in those countries, cartels are running their borders.
You're telling me, so you're telling me if citizens from Guatemala, Nicaragua, or Venezuela wanted to walk into Mexico from their southern border, Mexico can't stop that?
I mean, they could.
That's what I was suggesting. They need to do that.
Yeah. Well, but they never have, right? The cartels do more than the government in Mexico does.
Texas, I don't get where you spoke. I do believe that Mexico should not allow folks to use its country as a thoroughfare to get to ours. Where's the misspeaking at?
Well, you were saying, like, I can't remember exactly how you put it, but I mean, it's a great theory, but it's not going to happen. Because if it was going to happen, they would have done it.
I don't disagree with that, but I'm saying they should do it. If you're suggesting they're not going to do it, then we should follow Trump's suggestion and sanction the hell out of Mexico. Where am I misspeaking?
Well, I guess maybe I took it out of context, but it's just that's more a part of lack of what's going on those borders, right? Like I hear a lot of people say, if we build a wall, they'll just dig tunnels. Maybe in some areas, but along the Texas border, most of the way, no, they won't.
Okay.
And what's a wall going to stop? A wall isn't going to stop drug trafficking, but a wall will stop human trafficking. And that's what doesn't get talked about on the border, the crisis at the border. There's rape trees, right? There's sex trafficking and human trafficking. It's bigger than, it's just a bunch of people that we've destabilized or that are coming from destabilized areas. No, these cartels are forcing people to.
Yeah, but listen, if we can go all the way to Afghanistan to take on the Taliban, or go into countries where bin Laden did not even exist to take on Al Qaeda, we damn sure can go into Mexico to take on the cartels. Here's where Trump would do better than Biden on this. If you're suggesting that the immigrants are an invasion to this country, and Mexico will not do anything about the invaders, damn it, we're going to come into your country and take care of the cartels for you. It's as simple as that. This can be solved.
Oh, sure it can, but neither side wants to solve that, right?
I think Trump would do that.
I mean, we can hope he would, but
I think he'd at least try. He may get stopped by the Supreme Court, but he would at least try. If you're already deeming them as invaders, and I don't agree with that statement, but if you're deeming them as invaders, then you need to take care of the invasion. And if Mexico is doing nothing about it, then as Bush would say, you're either on our side or you're with the terrorists. Then at that point, you start looking at Mexico. Like, if you're not going to do anything, then you're going to have our troops in your country taking care of the cartel.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Problem solved. I mean, the problem you're presenting, suggesting that the cartels are in control of everything, if Mexico cannot handle its cartels, and America is the biggest recipient of all the problems from the cartel, then Mexico needs to ask America for help, or we can volunteer that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in a lucky place where I'm at in Texas, being next to a large military base, getting to meet people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, met a lot of people from Mexico, and that's another thing that people miss is a lot of the migrants, especially all of them on the buses, they did come here legally. They came through a port of entry. That's how they got on the bus. But the bigger issue is the ones that come across where there is no port of entry and we don't know about them. They're the undocumented.
Well, let's be clear. The overwhelming majority of the immigrants in this country right now, certainly the ones that have come during the Biden administration, are not here illegally. They are asylum seekers who probably will not have a legitimate case to seek asylum, but all you had to do is request a hearing, and until that hearing comes up, you're in the country legally. Most of the folks that are here right now that are laying all over the streets in New York and shit like that, they are here legally.
Yes, they are. All of them that have been shipped to those major cities are here legally.
Yeah,
they came here. And a lot of them that people don't know about, they are coming for certain, jobs on like apple orchards, farming, landscaping. They know what they're going to do, and then they get thrown on a bus and shipped to a city far away, where there's no family, no one they know. They don't know what to do, and
you got to blame your governor for that, because they were lied to in their.
It's not an easy call. It's not an easy call for him, because if you think about it, we've been dealing with this issue for years and years. But what is the mass majority of people say? Well, it's been that way. That's just how it's going to be. Why? Why does it have to be that way? Why does it?
You're not giving me an excuse for why he's lying and telling them New York's going to be paradise and they're going to do all. You can bus them to New York, but you don't have to lie to them when they get on the bus. He's lying to them folks.
I mean, look, when you make hard choices like that, I mean, there's going to be consequences. There's going to be things that you have to do that you don't like. I'm not saying that I agree with the way he's doing it, but I understand why he's doing it. And that's what we can't lose sight of when we want to make progress on something. That's a lot of things that people do is I don't like the way he did it. Well, but you have to understand why it was done, not necessarily how he did it and how you would do it differently. Because we're not the ones making the choices,
All right.
I mean, that's just how I feel about it.
Fair enough, Texas. appreciate you coming through. Welcome back anytime.
Well, there was one thing I was going to say.
Real quick.
I think you might need a moderator. And if you need help, I'd be more than happy to help you out. I like your show. I like that you let people come on, speak their minds, even the crazy ones. That I think that person a couple ahead of me was a Q.
I love my QAnon. I like my Q. Keep going.
It makes it interesting. So, if you want something like that, some help to control your box, I'd be more than happy to help you. I respect you. I like your show. I like what you do.
Thank you. You can inbox me. We'll talk about it. I'll move it on.
Right.
Appreciate it. And real quick, folks, in regards to having moderators, I'll go ahead and give you the spiel of the show. We have never at this point had a moderator. I think we had one guy when I started a couple years ago, but I'm not big fans on moderating the show because at the end of the day, everybody has a political leaning. And if you lean left, you're going to be more favorable to statements that favor left-wing politics. And you might moderate the hell out of some right-wingers. And the same thing vice versa. If you support Trump, you may be critical of, inflammatory statements regarding Trump, but you may be totally okay when they're going to Nancy Pelosi. So as a result, you get an unbalanced program. I have never been one to censor anyone. Now, understand there are the TikTok gods, the YouTube gods that rank above me. I can't control what they censor, but yours truly, I don't censor anyone. I believe in free speech all the way through. Looking in the comments, YouTube says CIA at X. I don't quite get that. Need mods because fools like Lucas. YouTube, that's a YouTube comment, by the way. The YouTubers, I do get more trolls on YouTube. I don't know why, but YouTubers, I do get more trolls. How do you combat the climate? Fight the wind? You got all these other nations bombing each other, and you're saying drive less gas vehicles while China manufacturing is peaking. Well, you got to start somewhere. I'll tell you that right off the bat. You got to start somewhere. Now, true enough, China may not be as focused on the climate. But then, if that's the case, then why outlaw child labor in this country? I mean, China's doing it. If you're going to pattern your behavior after the worst actors on the planet, then why do any damn thing? I would also tell you to look at Los Angeles, for instance. You see those clouds of exhaust fumes hovering over Los Angeles? You don't have that hovering over Boise, Idaho. So even if China doesn't do what's right, the shit they're inhaling is going to come from them. You can still even make, I know the climate, navigates around the globe, but it will still be beneficial. Just simply saying, I'm not going to do it because they're not doing it in China. I don't think that's a legitimate excuse. Looking in the comments real quick, are you ready to get a job at the field? I don't quite get that comment. Somebody, and Day, thank you for the confetti. Appreciate that. That's assumptive, says Grace Victory. A lot of this is, including the statement, the topic we're addressing. What concerns you most if your opposing presidential candidate becomes our next president? 4 more years of Biden or 4 more years of Trump? It's looking like those are going to be our choices. You're going to get 4 more years of Biden or you're going to get 4 more years of Trump. Going back to the box, Yanni Rice. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Rice, how are you? I can't pronounce the first name. Yana. Okay. So, your political leanings, who do you favor for 2024? Who do you want to win the next presidential election?
Trump.
Okay. What are your biggest concerns if it happens to be Biden that wins?
If Biden wins, I will become richer, but people around me become more poor. If Trump wins, then everybody kind of wins. Everybody become equally wealthy.
Wow.
Just because lower taxation, lower gas prices, independence, and such stuff.
Now, I'm hearing an accent.
Yes.
What am I hearing?
So I was born in the Middle East. I'm a Muslim. I was born in Azerbaijan, which was part of the USSR, but I grew up in Russia.
Okay.
After, yeah.
A total and complete Muslim ban is what Trump was asking for when he became president. You know, you would not have been allowed to come to this country if Trump had got what he wanted, if you were a young, aspiring migrant during that time.
I think it depends on which country you're talking about.
He didn't state at the time. He requested a total and complete, this is a quote, and folks who don't believe it, you can simply Google the words I'm saying word for word. A total and complete ban of all Muslims entering this country. Those are the words out of his mouth. He didn't mention certain countries, Yana.
I'm not gonna go, he run his mouth a lot. I go after what his policy actually is.
Okay.
That's my thing. I'm like, I don't listen what men saying, at least I watch what men doing. That's my policy. And as an immigrant, I wanted to address the issue with migrants.
Sure.
So my problem is that these people become to this country illegally, becoming slaves. They're gonna work for less than minimum wage with no insurance, no disability, and no rights. So I work with bunch of illegal aliens, they call back then, in South Korea, and they are being dropped by the factory owners just because they don't want to pay. And they can't complain because they're afraid to be deported. So they've been taking advantage of these people. So what we all should be talking about is easy to get working visas, because every single state could use some workers for sure, but let's do this on a legal level, and I think it's agreeable on both sides.
Let me ask you this. Now, we have a host of them here as folks trying to claim asylum, and we have a lot of folks that came in this country illegally. If you could vet those who are currently here and find out they had no criminal record and they were willing to work, would you suggest they be allowed to stay?
I suggest there would be allowed business owners to provide working visas if they wanted to take these people in it, provide them housing, provide them some kind of starting place. If they work, they can stay. Otherwise, they come back home and sit on their butt there.
So you're okay with what you're suggesting? They all need employer sponsors. They need somebody to you mentioned in housing and everything.
Correct. Every time you apply for the visa to United States, you have to provide a sponsor. Okay. You have to have a sponsor in this country. I tried to work on my mother green card. You have to provide papers that you're willing to provide her shelter, and you can provide her staying in here because she's not legal to work here.
Yeah, it would be difficult to impossible to find that many sponsors for all of those people. I mean, that's certainly not going to happen.
But if we can just making sure that they working legally and nobody cheating them on the minimum wage, that's the least we can do. I don't want these people go unpaid at all and starving to death because they're not legal to work in this country. And people saying working visa, it's basically impossible to get working visa in United States because government makes sure that American get job first.
Great. Now, Trump is promising, now you said you favor Trump, he's promising the largest deportation in American history. Do you think that's a good idea? Do you favor that?
Problem is we don't know who these people are. When you're applying for international passport, you provide in criminal record. When you're applying for the visa in United States, you provide in a criminal record that you don't have a criminal charges to go to this country. And he's talking about probably people who have criminal records and such stuff, and deporting people. But the country gonna start to lose money because the business owner who hired those illegal migrants don't pay in taxes. The people who's, these migrants doesn't pay any payroll taxes. So countries start losing taxes. There is no jobs for Americans to pay taxes on it as well. So
Yeah, Yana, I'm hearing you speak on this subject. I don't see why you're supporting Trump. Biden is more likely to do the things you're suggesting, work visas and all of this stuff that would be helpful to. Trump is just going to get rid of these people. I don't see how you're supporting Trump on this topic.
My biggest thing is that Biden not doing the right way and people getting hurt to come here illegally. That's my biggest problem. We can figure it out details later, but so far these people coming over, where are they staying? Where are they sleeping? Where are they working? What's happening? We don't know. I experienced firsthand sees people being lied to just because they're not legal in the country. I didn't see anything Biden doing at all. To me, as I grew up in Russia, I do strongly believe that when Putin saw how Biden withdraw from Afghanistan, he's probably like, hey, this guy is a loser. We can now attack Ukraine. That's what I truly believe.
What do you now? You said you grew up in Russia. What do you think of Putin? You think what he did with the Ukraine? Think he did the right thing?
He needs to die.
Wow. Now Trump says Putin is a good guy. He's a smart man.
Trump put in more sanctions on Russia during his presidency.
He invited Putin to the White House, Yana. Trump is spoken favorably of Putin.
Sure. But that's the thing is like you're trying to negotiate with these crazy people and do the best. But obviously nobody gonna be supporting Putin on anything that he doing. Look what he did with Navalny. He did with other journalists and stuff like that. This is not. He at the corner. He knows that, and he is cannot back down. That's all it is. He wasn't that crazy. We never expected that he's gonna go and attack Ukraine.
Okay, so
next month is election for Putin, the presidency in Russia. Next month, March 23rd, I believe, there would be a new election. That's why you see, but all they talking about negotiation and stuff like this, Putin cannot negotiate. What if he gonna say, oh, I killed a bunch of your sons?
Yeah, but I don't, this once again, just like with the immigration thing, Yana, I'm hearing you talk, and in my opinion, it doesn't make sense that you support Trump on these issues. What do you think of the Ukraine?
None of my business, not my country.
Okay.
That's what I think.
You don't think they have biolabs and Nazis and things like that in their country? You don't think that the Ukraine is corrupt and that Russia's doing a good job in invading them? Because that's what Trump and his supporters tend to think.
I don't know what's going on in Ukraine. What I definitely know that it's their country and they're gonna make a decisions on it. We not required to support them or not support them, and I agree we should not send them all this money at all. And as far as the Ukrainians now, I listen to them, they said they're not going to be voting for Zelensky because he's stealing money, because his administration stealing money, and they said we're not going to vote for him. So they do fight in their corruption for sure. They're working on it.
They want to change leaders in the middle of a war. Wow, that would be interesting. I do got to move it on, Yana. Interesting conversation. Appreciate you coming through.
Thank you. Like your show. You have a great day.
Thank you. You too. My sentiments exactly. Moving the program on. I don't get that. Maybe I'm seeing it wrong, but based on the things she favors, my last caller, Trump is favorable to Putin. She thinks the guy should die. So I don't quite get that, because Trump is certainly with Tucker Carlson going over there to visit the guy. She thinks the guy should lose his life. And she's supporting Trump at the same time. That maybe I'm missing it. Looking in the comments, she's talking out of both sides of her face, says Mark. Be nice to the guests. Gosh. Real quick, tap the screen. We should be around 70,000, 900 plus of you enter on TikTok for my YouTube viewers. If you enjoy this type of dialogue without any concerned of the host blocking or banning you, you are in the right place. Implore you to smash that like button. Don't get folks to smash the like button is easy on YouTube, but I always solicit it. And feel free to drop a subscription if you will. Because Putin understands how corrupt the USA is, says Kerry. I don't get that. That we are defending the Russians by airing our own dirty laundry. I remember Bill O'Reilly interviewing Trump during the Super Bowl, suggesting that Putin was an evil guy. And Trump told Bill O'Reilly, so are we. I don't get that. That when you criticize Russia, a lot of, let me just say it clearly, it's MAGA, a lot of my beloved MAGA, often will actually air America's dirty laundry in defense of Russia. That I don't quite understand that. We've never done that before. Handsome, you keep your friends close and your enemies closer, says Woodcraft Burns in the comments on TikTok. Well, if you're keeping your enemies closer, that don't mean you got to go around labeling them as good people. You can still call them an enemy. The Trump administration speaks favorably of Putin. They just assassinated a guy. What is it? Navalny or whatever his name is. Trump didn't even condemn him for it. Trump suggested that, well, I feel like I'm Navalny because my country is trying to take me out. That doesn't say anything about what happened there. He just simply compared himself to Navalny. He speaks favorably of Russia. There's no denying that. Even Russia thinks Trump, Tucker Carlson, is favorable to them. My last guest said the man should die. Going back to the box. I don't get it, but I'll continue moving the program on. Doggy lot of, I don't quite get all of that, but we'll bring you up. He wants to be dictator of America forever. I hope not. Doggy, good afternoon.
Hey, how you doing? I'm thinking about what you were saying, and either way, the U.S. is not going to go anywhere with either president, either Trump or Biden. I'll give you an example right now. A lot of people are saying the U.S. Is a righteous country, a good country. I'm over here visiting Mexico right now, and the New York Times has brought up a couple of items saying that the Mexican president is part of the cartels.
Wow.
The New York Times, the Mexican president, because he does it every morning, a press conference. Every morning, the Mexican president does a press conference. So he addressed the issue that the New York Times is saying that the Mexican president is part of the cartel. And he says, okay, show me the proof. Show me the proof. And guess what? The U.S. government, officially, the U.S. government says there's no investigation against the Mexican president running the cartels or being part of the cartels in 2006 or 2018.
So what's your point on it? You said the Mexican president may be in with the cartel. Hell, there's a lot of American politicians that are probably working with the damn cartels.
That's what I'm getting to. My point is that the country that's actually funding the cartels is the U.S. government.
I believe that.
Remember the Fast and the Furious? You remember that?
Yeah.
The U.S. was sending weapons to Mexico.
Yeah, that's under Obama. That was under Obama, that Fast and Furious scandal. Yeah.
Yes, that was under Obama. It doesn't matter. The country of the U.S. has always meddled into every other country's business because they're looking for the best interest of the U.S. Not the best interest of the country they're meddling in, not the best interest for the people they're meddling with. They're looking for the best interest of the U.S.
Now, so how do you feel about President Trump promising to get us out of foreign overseas involvements and focus on America first? Maybe he's your guy then.
No, he's not gonna. I'm gonna tell you this much. Okay, I did work for the Department of Defense. The U.S. is a country that thrives on destroying other countries, getting their resources.
I don't disagree. That's our history. Hell, I'm part of that.
Okay, I'll give you an example right now. The Congo, right now in Africa. There's the largest genocide going on in the Congo. Have you heard anything about that in the news?
No, because we don't care about the Congo.
They got all the resources. American companies Japanese country, every country is right there destabilizing that government so they can grab the minerals and resources for making microchips.
So then let me make it clear then, based on what you're saying, America being fucked either way, are you suggesting that you don't really favor Biden or Trump because it's not going to matter?
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. The U.S. is going downhill with either president.
Which one might take us downhill faster?
I think Trump would.
Why?
To be honest. His politics, his erratic behavior, his opening his mouth when he should be quiet. He could. A lot of people think, because I'm visiting here, I have family that are in the U.S. government. I have family that work for the Mexican government, also military family.
Are you personally of Mexican descent?
Yes, I am.
How do you feel about this notion that the folks coming through Mexico, if not some of them from Mexico, are invading the U.S.?
Why? They're going back to their country. Texas is Mexico. Just because some rebellions happen, it's still Mexico. It's occupied territory. That's how I see it.
Oh, so even though America acquired Texas over 100 years ago, you're saying you still see Texas as Mexico, huh?
You know why they went to war? Because of slavery. Mexico had banned slavery, and Texas people that were in Texas favored slavery because they had fields and they wanted slavery to continue. Mexico had banned slavery. Mexico wanted people to populate the northern part of Mexico. Of course, a lot of people don't know this. Yeah, Mexico went to war with Texas because of slavery. They had hanging trees for Mexican and black people in Texas.
Wow.
And you should know that in El Paso, they had a Mexican hanging tree because they didn't think blacks and Mexicans should be hanging around together. So they hang them in separate trees. Look in the history books.
Well, I gotta go to Mexico to get my hand on those history books. They don't teach that shit here. I believe you.
No, they don't.
Yeah, I believe you, but our history, we teach history from a place of American exceptionalism, so we don't teach the bad parts.
And about deporting people, give you an example. In 1930s, how many Mexicans were deported? Well, how many U.S. citizens that were Mexican descent were deported to Mexico? Over 1 million people.
Now, let me ask you this, because ex-Army Sarge on YouTube is saying, listen, they paid Mexico for Texas. We didn't take it. You got paid for it.
No. It was taken over. It was just like Ukraine.
You're saying no monies was exchanged at all?
No. Yeah, they destabilized Mexico for almost 100 years. We had a revolution that lasted about 100 years in Mexico. Who funded that? The U.S.? Yeah. The railroads in Mexico, they wanted the resources from Mexico.
All right. Now, at the end, so you are, let's just make sure I get clarity here. You are an American citizen, right?
Yes.
Okay. how do you think Biden is doing so far?
I think he's just doing the pandering to the rich, just like Trump would.
So you don't see either one of these guys. Now, the folks that are coming seeking asylum, if you're in Mexico, I'm gonna ask you the obvious question. Why the hell is Mexico not doing more to protect its borders and let all these folks, some Chinese, some coming from the Middle East, walk through their country?
It's very easy. The U.S. right now, you're running a election campaign, okay? For either for saying that you're gonna fix the immigration problem, or for saying that you need to deport people, you need immigrants at the border.
What has that got to do with Mexico? If I fly from China and land in Mexico, why are you letting me just walk through your country?
The U.S. pays the Mexican government to let them go through. Because it's good politics. The U.S. will say, oh, no, they're all coming from Mexico. It doesn't bother us.
So if, wait. So if someone from Guatemala or Venezuela or Peru somewhere down there wants to come to the United States, we're paying Mexico to let them walk through their country?
Yeah, and you're organizing the people to come over here to this country. It's very easy. Just look at it. How come 50,000 people will march together? Who's feeding them? Who's funding them? Who's giving them the transportation to get to the border? Mexican government ain't gonna give them the money.
All right. I need evidence. I need to see evidence that America is paying immigrants.
Let me tell you this. Whatever country you go to, that's the best country in the world. The politics, the news, or anything will only show you what they want to show you in that country.
That is true.
You will not hear anything about this because you're in the U.S. You will only hear U.S. news.
All right.
When they say world news and the newscast, they say world news. 10 seconds of world news, and the rest is all about the U.S.
This is strong shit. I've never heard that America is paying Mexico to let folks walk through their country. That's strong. Now, I was in Mexico myself a couple of weeks ago, but I was just, Cozumel, just on a tour, on a, vacation or whatever.
Yeah,
I ain't never heard them like this.
Look it up, and let me tell you one thing. What's it called? The U.S. has a reputation of genocide Native American, genocide black people, genocide Mexicans. And if you look all of that up, yeah, they won't show it in the history books. They will not show it in the history books. You got to study your history before you can actually speak about it.
I don't disagree, but like I mentioned earlier, it depends on where because you can study history, but if you're reading the wrong damn books, I'm talking to you, Epoch Times, if you're reading the wrong history, you can study all you want and still walk away with a bunch of lies. I do got to move it on, though, Doggy. Give you the last word.
Take care, and appreciate your time. I know, great show.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Absolute. Anytime come back, you make a very interesting guest. You can certainly open my eyes, if not a lot of other folks. Appreciate you coming through. All right. Going back to the box, Epoch Times gives great information. What do you mean they provide every source? Epoch Times is right-leaning media, period. I'm not saying that what they say may not be great, but it's from a right-wing perspective. Not saying it may not all be, I'm not saying it's all false or fake news. It is a right, conservative-leaning media outlet. That's all I'm saying. MSNBC, CNN, I know how a lot of my beloved MAGA feel about those news organizations. Everything they say is not false, but MSNBC is a left-leaning media outlet. Epoch Times and PragerU leans right. And you can tell by who promotes them. Most of the folks that would promote Epoch Times or PragerU are conservatives. You can tell which side of media outlet leans by their advertising. Look where you see PragerU and Epoch Times commercials. I mean, it's pretty obvious that they lean right. Somebody says PragerU. Okay. Everything he said was 100% true. Trust me, I know everything he said says mortal portal. I will say this. I don't ever propose to be a know-it-all. That's why I run an uncensored format. That's why I never talk down to guests. At the end of the day, a hell of a lot more of you folks I consider as more knowledgeable than myself. Nevertheless, I may be able to provide knowledge as well. That's why we run an uncensored format and we let everybody speak, because it's a complete exchange of ideas and opinions. Nevertheless, what my last guest was stating was resonating on both platforms. My YouTube audience, a lot of you folks were saying the same thing, and certainly on TikTok, a lot of you guys agree with him. Now, Michael Howard just stated the caller really doesn't know history. All right, I will say this, regardless of what side of the aisle you're on, if you want to know the truth, if you really want to study history, you need to travel abroad. Fact is, and I'm not blaming or shaming anyone's politics, the facts are out there. What we've been taught in this country is not the truth on a host of topics. as my last caller stated, everybody thinks their country is the best. If you walk around in America, you would think we have a patent on freedom. Freest country on earth. That's not true. That's not true. I used to live overseas. I've lived in Australia. I've been to New Zealand. There's not much you can't do in Australia than you can in America. You don't have many freedoms over there. And now that we're losing abortion rights, you can do that in most European countries. So I don't know, in regards to history, if anyone who has only been educated in America can say that they are educated in regards to what history entails, because we have tailored our history to ignore a lot of shit, downplay a lot of things, and in some cases flat out lie about reality. So that's why what my caller was saying was resonating with so many people. Going back to the box, and it was an interesting call. It really was. Tap the screen. We might be able to get to 80,000 on TikTok. For my YouTubers, feel free to smash that like button. Thank you. I appreciate that as well. For you folks on YouTube, I don't know what happened. You folks are suddenly saying the mic is off. I don't know. Some people are saying that. Your mic is muted. I didn't do anything on YouTube for that to happen. Let me see. Let me know if you can hear me on YouTube. Obviously, TikTok is not having any problem. Folks are saying I can hear you fine. I don't know what happened there. Okay. Some are saying they can, some are saying they can. That's weird. Real quick on the comments. Can you please stop having the wannabe conservatives on? What is a wannabe conservative? Is Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, are they wannabe conservatives and maybe Trump is a genuine conservative? I don't know. All I know is once Trump came on the scene, a lot of folks that were respected Republicans suddenly became rhinos. So I don't know where the answer is on that. Going back to the box, appreciate you folks that are holding on. 813, born and raised. If it'll let you on there. Yes, folks are saying can't hear you, and then other folks are saying they can hear me. That doesn't make any sense.
Hey, good afternoon, handsome.
Hey, good afternoon to you as well. So we're talking about the possibility that the candidate you're hoping wins in 2024 does not. If the opposing candidate wins, what are your biggest concerns?
Right now, my biggest concern is the border. And I think that's where we got to do something about that, because if we don't, then I think that's the starting to everything, the start, the building block to everything that we have to do from there and on, because you can't work on the economy, you can't work on the deficit, you can't really work on anything. And, you know, I look at it now because we got families struggling with health care. We got shortages of schools. We have large classrooms and all this stuff. And these people are coming in, and where are they going to go to school? Where are they going to house them? If we having housing problems, and we have to budget, and we have to settle for somewhere to live, for our family to live. We can't get a dream house. We have to settle for what we can afford these days. You know, the American dream is gone because of this.
So how do you respond? Now, in the comments, Cass says if you shut the border, you shut the economy. How do you respond to folks who suggest that letting folks in is helping the economy?
Well, I agree. We do need some form of immigration, but at the same time, it has to be, like I agree with you, it has to be done through a very strict vetting service. It can't be just open up and just because you want to come and just because my heart feels for you, you know, and it does. I feel for people, and I understand they struggle. But you know, a person needing help, in need of help, can't help somebody in need of help. You know, we both need help. Right now, you know, right at $35 trillion in debt, and we steady giving. You know, if you keep giving, after a while, there ain't gonna be nothing to give. What you gonna do 100 years later when it's time to give? You ain't gonna have nothing.
So Trump is promising the largest deportation in history. You believe that is necessary?
Well, I don't know if that's was necessary, but I did do some research, and I was trying to find out about the immigration. I looked it up, and I found out that Obama deported more immigrants than any other president in this nation's history. He deported over 1 million immigrants.
It's interesting you would say that, because even if what you're saying is correct, and I've heard a hell of a lot of folks suggest that Obama was separating families and everything, the problem with Obama is the Republicans were too busy saying he was for open borders. He was actually protecting the border, but as opposed to giving him credit, they were too busy making up lies so that now they can only use it to defend one of their sides. Once Trump started getting in trouble for separating families, well, Obama was doing it too. You weren't giving him credit when he was actually doing it, though.
Well, liberal. That's the whole trick of it. You know, as long as I'm fighting, you know, people like to run up and watch a fight. As long as we fight, people gonna just watch us while we do what we got to do in the background. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not a Republican and I'm not a Democrat. What I am is an American, because once you separate yourself, it's just like the Super Bowl when you got two teams. You know, we on the same field, we on the same team. But when you separate yourself, you got the offense over here and the defense over here. You're battling, but your problems are the same. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? Our opponents are. May
I ask, what part of the country are you in? I'm just curious.
I'm in Florida.
Are you having major issues with immigrants in your area in Florida?
You know, I don't want to make it a personal thing about myself. You know, I don't have a problem with immigrants. You know, I'm an immigrant myself. My ancestors aren't native to this country. My grandfather, great grandfather came back here in 1831. That's when my family came to the U.S.
Well, the reason I'm asking is this. A lot of folks are suggesting the border is their biggest issue, but they're living in parts of the country where there's no border concerns at all. I mean, like if you're living in Boise, Idaho, you're not dealing with immigrants at all. So that's why I asked you that.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, you know, like you were saying, if they're coming through Mexico, and Mexico is allowing this, then why don't we just shut our border and let it be Mexico's problem? You know, why let Mexico pass it on to us? You know what I'm saying?
Well, like my last caller pointed out, there's a lot of people in this country that want those immigrants coming here. Some would suggest Democrats want them here because they turn into votes.
And I'm with you on that. Like I don't want to be one to say people can't go anywhere in the world. People should be able to go anywhere they want to go in the world. You know, it shouldn't be this thing about the border and this and that and that. But what you have to have common sense thinking. You know, if I only got a 5-bedroom house, how can I put 100 people inside and let them sleep comfortably? It don't make sense. Yeah. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't make sense.
Is it possible that we have such a border issue because
what I want to do and what I can do is two different things.
All right. But let me ask you this. Is it possible that we have a colossal issue on the border because of our involvement in we've made so many countries ineffective because of our involvement? Like Venezuela, for instance, we imposed sanctions out of disgust for Hugo Chavez before he passed away in 2010, and we destroyed that country. And now they represent a lot of the immigrants coming here, Venezuelans. Is it possible that some of our deeds is what has led these folks to flee their homeland?
That's possible. That's possible because we do get involved in a lot, like the other caller was saying. We do get involved in a lot of things, and then a lot of things we turn our back to because there's some things that are going on in the world a lot worse than Ukraine that we could be handling. You know, if you really looked at it, you know, but we pick and choose. Yeah. You know, we pick and choose those things that we want to do. And if people open their eyes and clearly see, the only reason we deal with Israel is because Israel is our eye in the Middle East. Nobody else wants us over there. Nobody else wants us there but Israel.
Now, is it safe to say with your statement on Israel, is it safe to say come November you're supporting Trump?
I am supporting Trump.
There's nothing wrong.
The reason I am supporting Trump is because of the America First. And I believe, you know, charity begins at home and spread abroad. That's what my mom always taught me. Feed your child before you feed somebody else's child. You know what I'm saying? Take care of your own first.
So, do you believe?
There's a lot of people.
So, are you against aiding the Ukraine in their war against Russia?
I'm not saying I'm against aiding the Ukraine, but what I am for aiding is aiding, supporting, putting money towards trying to stop these mass shootings that's going on. People can't go enjoy a parade no more. People can't go to a football game.
How are you going to do that?
How are we going to do it? Hey, if I was the best mind in the world, I could give you the answer, but I think it takes more than just my brain. It takes a collective of brains to get that done.
Okay. But in regards to the Ukraine, though, going back to that, so if we decide to divert our assistance that we're giving to Ukraine to help issues here in America, are you okay if the Ukraine is totally conquered and ceases to exist as a nation? Would you be okay with that as opposed to, would you be okay with that if it meant helping out Americans first, which is what you're promoting? Would you be okay with a complete loss of the Ukraine in the process?
I wouldn't say I would be okay with it, but hey, that's life, man. The world ain't fair. You know what I'm saying? We could say, right now, can I ask that same question to the people that conquered America? Are y'all okay with where the natives sit right now? You know what I'm saying? Are they okay with that? You know what I'm saying? But you can go on and ask these questions throughout history. Are people okay with that? And then this and that and the other. But what I do fail to do I do my studies? Yes, I do. And I can tell you this, liberal, I look back and I can say, this right here, like I know a lot of people don't know this about Joe Biden, but he pushed against integration back in the 60s. He didn't want black kids going to school with white kids. And as I come on up forward, I could talk about Bill Clinton and his war on drugs that locked up a lot of black people disproportionately compared to white people, and gave them these stretched out 20-year sentences and 30-year sentences. And then I move on up to now.
So what about wait a minute, you skipped over some stuff. What about Trump supporting stop and frisk? You okay with that?
No, I'm not okay with that.
Well, you didn't mention it. I'm only asking you because you mentioned it. Now, you've heard about the Central Park fight. That comes up in conversations like you're talking about. Do you hold Trump accountable for suggesting those folks who were exonerated should be hung?
Well, I hold anybody accountable for what they do wrong, because one thing about it, I'm not voting person. I'm voting.
But then why bring it? But wait a minute.
A particular person.
But if you're not holding them accountable for, then why bring it up on Biden and Clinton? But then when I ask you on Trump, you're selling like.
I say I hold all of them accountable.
Okay.
I say I hold everybody accountable if they're wrong.
Okay.
Everybody that's wrong should be held accountable. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican, a Democrat, or whatever. If you're not in the best interest of this country as a whole, then you should be out of there. And I can put it like this: I voted for. I'll put it in perspective. Coming up, I voted for Obama the first time. I didn't vote for him the second time.
You voted for Romney?
And I voted for. I didn't vote for Trump the first time.
Did you vote for? Wait. You said you didn't vote for Obama the second time. Did you vote for Mitt Romney?
I didn't vote for Mitt Romney. I didn't vote at all.
Okay.
And I didn't vote for Trump the first time, but this time I am going to vote for him because I looked into the issues, because I was one of the people that got caught up in the rhetoric, listening to his mouth. But then when I look back and I start looking at, what the man is doing, it's a lot of arrogant bitches out there. Excuse my language. It's a lot of arrogant motherfuckers out there. But are they doing the job? You can't look at one thing and say, hey, what they got to do with what he's doing over here. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way I look at things. I went back and I did some research on the Democratic Party, and I went back and did those are in the Democratic Party right now, the ones that are running, and those that are in the Republican Party running right now. But regardless of whatever the outcome may be, whoever's president is going to be my president. So I accept that. And, what else can we do? We fall in line and we do what we got to do. I'm a military vet, and I know the chain of command.
Well
I fall in line with what I got to do.
Well said, 813. I do got to move it on. Appreciate you coming through. All right, looking in the comments, and someone stated that the Democrats have always been against black people. I didn't see where that was at, but you're in the comment section, but I certainly could have a hell of a lot of pushback on that. But I do believe in reading the comments. Stop and frisk is a local issue. Whatever citizens in those localities desire is up to them, says Joseph Kuhn. Stop and frisk is a violation of your Fourth Amendment right. The Fourth Amendment protects you against unwarranted searches and seizures. I don't give a damn if your local municipality or the local voters in your area are in favor of stop and frisk. It's a Fourth Amendment constitutional violation. The folks in Chicago are against your Second Amendment rights. If you go back in the 80s and 90s, are you saying that should be okay? No. You don't get to violate the Constitution because a few of you guys in the neighborhood think that's the right thing to do. It doesn't work that way. You've been fighting against liberal cities taking away your Second Amendment rights, but you're okay taking away folks' Fourth Amendment rights. The Bill of Rights consists of 10 damn amendments. You can't play games with the ones you're okay with. You get them all. So Trump was in favor of stop and frisk. Two different sources of information. One, he's obviously a big fan of Rudolph Giuliani, and that's like the grandfather of stop and frisk in New York. It did bring down crime. Not going to deny stop and frisk can bring down crime, but you're violating people's rights in the process. You can take everybody's guns away and bring down folks getting shot by firearms, but you're violating people's Second Amendment rights. And in addition to Rudolph Giuliani, you had Sheriff Joe Arpaio down in Arizona fighting issues at the border during his time, stopping and frisking brown people, ordering his deputies to stop and frisk folks and demand they show paperwork. Obviously, there's a hell of a lot of American-born individuals of Hispanic descent that are going to qualify and get stopped and frisked until they show they're actually American. You don't have the right to do that. Sheriff Joe Arpaio was arrested for that and about to be sentenced to prison. Trump pardoned him. So Trump is a fan of stop and frisk, and he's also said it, but I'm giving you examples so that you don't think I'm talking out my ass. Tap the screen. We should be able to reach 100,000 likes on TikTok, nearly 1,000 of you in here, if you show your boy some love on the program. It is and always will remain MAGA friendly. Looking in the comments, you sound like, you like snow bunnies, huh? Nothing wrong with a snow bunny. I hear rabbits are delicious for those who like to hunt. Looking in the comments here, Trump eats toes. Now that's trolling. By the way, if the woman has a nice pedicure, what's wrong with putting a little bit of toes in your mouth? Everybody has their own fetish. Quit hating on the toes. COVID, I would assume Melania Trump gets her pedicures on time. COVID, BLM borders, everything created by totalitarian government. What the hell does BLM have to do with a totalitarian government? I don't know where that's coming from. As for Democrats, Federal Housing Authority was passed by a Democrat House, Senate, and President. It led to redlining in Democrat-run cities in the North. I don't think redlining was going to, listen, you could get rid of the FHA, Federal Housing. They still were going to redline. They were redlining before that happened. I can guarantee you that. Even if you go back to the 1800s, long before the FHA, you think I could live in any neighborhood I wanted to? They were already redlining. Going back to the box. FSU, friend of the program, will bring you up if I can get the damn app to work. Taking away the honest owner's firearms will not save lives. That's where I disagree with you. I could go into a long spiel on it, but I will just say this. In regards to firearms, the statement is always, if you ban guns, a criminal will be able to get a gun on the street. Fact is, if you catch a criminal with a firearm and you trace it to its original owner, it's somebody who originally owned the gun legally. The overwhelming majority of criminals in this country with firearms either bought, stole, or found it from a legal gun owner. The street don't make guns. Not yet. I know there's this printed gun shit is coming out, but right now, the street is not where criminals are getting their guns. They're getting them from us, legal gun owners. What folks don't tell you, they don't want to tell you, is that legal gun owners are criminals' largest supplier of weapons. That is where they're getting them from. They're either finding them, stealing them, or buying them from a legal gun owner. That's where they're getting them from. So if guns dry up, if legal gun owners have a hard time getting firearms, it's going to affect the criminals because you are their supplier. Ambitious, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
I'm doing real good. We're talking about concern if the opposing candidate wins. So if you favor Trump and Biden wins, what are your biggest concerns if the individual you want to win in November loses?
This is my thing, and I was reading in the comments where we have to understand as the American people, we both have something to say about Biden and we have something to say about Trump.
True.
Why is that? That is because they both work for the same company. And what do I mean by that? We, the people, are going to have to stand together, the 99% against the 1, because what you're seeing now is a game being played out. So there's a great divide between Republicans and Democrats. They're arguing about Ukraine and things like that, when the truth of the matter is we're all being railroaded.
Hold on a second, though. Ambitious, I was told by Trump that he was going to drain the swamp and expose corruption. You make it sound like he's playing right into it.
I'm going to say that because if you do not understand, and I am talking to black, white, Hispanics need to understand, and everybody is complaining about the Hispanics who are doing that, but we need to look at the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. We need to look at where America promised Mexico some things, and they reneged on that. That land belonged to Mexico. Those people, some of those people, just like if you understood your sovereignty, and you understood that you own the land and how it was taken from you by way of the United States government, those people have a right to fight for some of this land, as well as the indigenous black people, the white people who are already here. The problem is we are sitting here thinking this is political.
You're saying in 2024, Mexicans have a right to fight for some of their land back?
Yes, they do. Because when you look at that treaty and you look at how the United States reneged on that treaty, yes, they lied to them like they're lying to us right now.
Wow.
First of all, we need to understand that we are sovereign. If you don't understand that, we need to understand maritime law. Okay? First of all, people need to understand what maritime law is. Okay? That is where we are the people. We run the republic. So when Trump says that he wants to reestablish the republic, that is getting the people who really understand that we are all slaves to get on his side.
I don't see the slave comment in 2024. I mean, I'm sitting in a decent car. I'm actually making money while talking. I don't see it.
We have been slaves. We have. Listen, they freed the black people. Okay, they didn't free us. Let me take that back. What they did was they said, listen, let's stop killing them and enslave them in another way. When they included the new enslavement in 1892, when Britain bought the United States, because we are not the United States, we're a part of Great Britain, we're a part of the United Nations. So when they bought the United Nations, when they took the gold standard and all of that, when that happened, white people became enslaved too. Why? You had to start going to work. You had to start doing things. Now, some people are going to say I'm a little crazy.
You're a little ambitious. You're a little ambitious.
Yeah, because, listen, everybody on this platform has a trust in the United States of America, the corporation. And so what you're seeing now is you being denied that trust. You're being hoodwinked, bamboozled with the bullshit. And you think your vote matters? No. You know who controls this? BlackRock. So you got the rich people who let's be real, you got the electoral college. And how do you get the electoral college? You line the pockets of the motherfuckers you want to say what you want them to say. All right? So everybody on here don't have no money to pay for no electoral college. So this is a game. Those people who want to control you, keep you going to work and all of that, Those are the same people that are controlling the electoral.
So give me some names. Who are these people that's controlling us? Give me some names.
You have the Bush administration. You have go look up.
Wait, hold on. Hang on. Condoleezza Rice was part of the Bush administration. Is she a slave owner now?
That's not what I'm saying about a slave.
I asked you to give me some names. You said the Bush administration.
The United States government, the corporation, what it was created in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C. is not even part of the United States. Why? Because that is where contracts are being made. Go look this up. See, the problem is we need to educate ourselves.
I'm asking you, though. You said we're all slaves. Give me some names of the slave owners.
The Bush administration, the Biden administration, the Trump administration, the United States government.
So are we? Hold on, hold on. You got a lot to say. Let me get in. Are you saying that Trump is a slave owner?
I'm saying that if Trump is gonna play this game to keep you on that hamster wheel, hell yes.
Wow.
But I will say this. There was a man, I cannot remember his name. He was running for governor in Tennessee, I believe it was governor, and he was teaching sovereignty, UCC law, and this was last year. So what people need to understand, that everything is contractual, everything. So what we have entered ignorantly is contracts to be enslaved with the United States government. There's two governments operating here. Go look it up. It's out there. Some people don't like the word straw man, but go look it up.
I gotta say, ambitious. I got money in my pocket.
No,
Hold on, hang on. You're talking to the comments. Talk to me. At this point, ambitious, most of us got a little bit of money in our pocket. We got a roof over our head. We got good food to eat. If this is slavery, I don't know. This ain't bad.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But you know why you got it though? Because you have to get up and go to work. But the Bible says that your gifts would make room for you, correct? Well, back in the day, people were trading and bartering what they had and what they grew. You didn't have to work for it. You didn't have to get a permit to.
That's not.
You didn't have to.
Wait, ambitious. Hold on, ambitious. Even before the invention of money, people, in fact, they worked harder back then. What do you mean? People work everywhere.
They worked, but they bartered. They didn't have to get permission from the government to go fishing. They didn't have to get permission for these things. Right. Correct? Because the Constitution even lets you know that this is everybody that's breathing on this land have freedom to go wherever it is they want. The only crime committed is when you commit something against someone else. The laws were biblically based.
All right.
Everything the way in which they set it up. But I want you guys to entertain me for just a minute here.
Real quick, I do got to move it on. I'll give you the last word. What you got?
So people are upset about the border control, right? They're upset about the people who are coming in. It is a very dangerous situation. But we have to understand that people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So a lot of American men, Hispanic, black, white, have their guns stripped away from them with felonies, okay? So now they cannot protect us at all. So when we look up the word treason, we understand that would happen if the United States government attacked its own people. So what Biden is doing is he's already said we're going to let the immigrants be military. We're going to let them even be police officers. Okay, so what is he doing? He's avoiding treason because he's going to give non-citizens a gun to attack the United States citizens, and he just avoided treason.
All right.
So this is what people need to understand.
Okay,
So
I do got to move it on, but listen,
that's why the immigrants are not in those FEMA camps.
Okay.
That's going to be for the ones that ain't understanding me right now.
Damn. All right. I do got to move it on. What do you guys think? Now, some folks think that she was pretty far out there, but there were folks in the audience that were saying that she's right. What she was saying was resonating with some folks. She's educating us, and y'all shutting down, says Etta. So there you go. And some folks do actually believe what she is saying makes sense. It's above my educational pay grade. I'm just going to say that. Some of that is above my educational pay grade. But that's what I always say. That's why I make it clear. I don't talk down to guests. I'm going to hear opposing opinions. I don't have the same opinion of that. I'm not even going to pretend like I do, but I do believe a woman is allowed, I believe in giving a woman the right to speak. And at the end of the day, we talk and folks can make up their own mind. Sandy says, and thank you for the $5 Sandy, the super chat. Sandy, my first super chat of the day, says she is a sovereign citizen who doesn't believe in the 10th Amendment. Please ask if she, I didn't see your comment. I would have asked that. Ask if she believes she needs a driver's license or registration. I tend to agree with you, Sandy, that she probably would not have thought the government has a right to require you have a driver's license or registration. There's a lot of folks believe that. I think that it would have came that way. She's right. She spoke the truth, says Catherine Locken. Wow. So what she's basically saying is that neither Biden nor Trump are worthy leaders. She basically said that Trump also is a slave owner. Talking to my beloved MAGA, she didn't put your guy in any better position than Biden. By the way, folks, tap the screen. My YouTubers, my TikTokers, certainly get your boy up to 110,000. We always do 900 plus of you in here. Same thing on YouTube. Smash that like button. If you enjoy this type of civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without any concern of the host block, banning, or censoring you. As you have seen, we go left of Bernie Sanders to I'm having dinner with QAnon. We believe in letting the people speak. You gotta remember Trump was present 44 years, and he did not do anything for those 4 years. I don't quite get that. Trump was present 44 years, and he did not do anything. Now, folks suggest that Biden has been in office forever, and folks suggest that he didn't do it. Trump wasn't around that long. I don't quite get that comment. But continuing on, our leaders are getting us to fight so they can have control. They already got control. Going to the box. Q Finney. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program, Q. Are you there, Q?
What's going on?
Not much. You got a loud background, though.
Sorry about that. I'm driving my windows up.
Okay. I can hear you, but I want to make sure everybody else can. Your background's pretty loud.
How about now?
All right, let's make it happen. What concerns you about the opposing candidate?
Well, I'm gonna tell you now. Of course, I'm a liberal. I'm not gonna say leaning nothing. But what concerns me is one of the things you talked about earlier: the civil unrest, civil war. And a lot of misinformation. It's sad that it really is sad. And I applaud you for bringing both sides on, even though I don't agree with a lot of your MAGA guests, unfortunately. But it is sad that we cannot have a civil conversation. And the problem with all of it is that number 45, Trump, if he gets back in office, this is what we're going to be looking at. People against each other every day, all the time. Because all of this, divisiveness came to the forefront with him being in office.
So how do you respond? How do you respond to folks who suggest that it was President Obama that started the divisiveness? Certainly, folks believe that when he said Trayvon Martin could be my only son, and he got in the middle of the Black Lives Matter debacle, some say that Obama started the divisiveness.
How would Obama start the divisiveness? The only thing he did was become the first black president. That's it. Okay. What else did he do? Because he said one of our brothers, our sisters, our sons got gunned down in cold blood, and that could have been his only son. He was relating with Trayvon Martin's family. Just like the caller earlier, you said, "Oh, George Floyd wasn't even real, bruh." I'm in Minnesota, right here. I live in Minnesota. That shit's real. Nothing was fake about that at all. Yeah. That is disgusting for somebody to see somebody sitting on somebody's neck for over 9 minutes and say that was
Big
fake.
dog.
There's no way in hell that was fake.
Yeah, I get a lot of callers that believe George Floyd was not killed or he died by COVID or fentanyl. That happens a lot. I don't know why that is so much, but a lot of folks believe Derek Chauvin didn't do anything wrong.
They want to believe the narrative that no, this good white person couldn't have done this. No, Derek Chauvin really did it, and the other 3 police officers, one of Asian descent, one a black guy, another white dude, stood there and let him do it. It wasn't a color thing. It was a thing of them backing the blue. Yeah. That's what it was. They were backing the blue. All they were doing was backing their what was he, a sergeant or something? Was he a sergeant or something?
I don't know what his rank was.
It doesn't matter now because he ain't nothing, because he in a jail cell for what disgusting shit he did. But that's not the point to me. Yeah. To me, the point is that you would see something like that and decide that just because you don't agree with it happening, or it's so disgusting to you that it's not possible that another person could possibly do that. And it is possible. Unfortunately, we live in America where, unfortunately, the history, and because of people fighting CRT, the history is that Columbus magically came upon the Americas, which we all know is bullshit, because the Native Americans and the indigenous people who were already here were slain by the thousands.
But let me ask you this.
Forget that.
But let me ask you this. In regards to George Floyd that you mentioned, Joseph on YouTube says, how many people have died from a knee in the neck? How many people have died from fentanyl or COVID? So he's suggesting that if you look at the numbers, it's more likely that George Floyd died from fentanyl or COVID as opposed to a knee in the neck.
Oh, I'm sorry. So we're going to go with somebody who pretty much thinks he's a doctor, or the fact that we all literally watched a video where this guy had a knee on the back of somebody's neck. Yeah. I'm not going with that.
Well, then let me...
I believe that the knee in the back of George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes is what killed him.
Okay. Well, let me give you another one then. Dev D, same. The original coroner report literally stated that there was no signs of asphyxiation and he died of a fentanyl overdose, but the media doesn't want to talk about that. They buried it. So he's saying that there...
At what point did he overdose? Because usually when you see something about a fentanyl overdose, and I'm not a doctor, so I can't quote exactly, but everything I see on TV about a fentanyl overdose is in shorter times than 9 minutes.
Yeah,
when did he have time to go shoot up that fentanyl after they caught him with a supposed fake $20 bill? They called the cops. He went back to his car for over 3 to 4 minutes, talked to the dude who gave him the $20 bill. All of a sudden, the cops showed up. At what point did he have enough time to go take another dose of fentanyl? Because I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I did see was a dude with his knee in his neck, choking him to death, with his arms behind his back, and a grown 6'5" man call off his dead mother.
That's what I saw too. That's
6'5" man called off his mother.
I saw the same thing. Q. I do got to move it on, though, man. I appreciate you holding on. I'll give you the last word. Go ahead.
It's sad, and it would really be better. Not that I agree with every sentiment. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you like I think Biden is, the greatest. But I can tell you, I don't think he's Jesus, and I look at him like a man whose job is to represent this country. He can do that. I don't look at him like Jesus, and I don't praise him like Jesus either.
Well said. Appreciate you holding on too, by the way, Q. Thank you.
Have a good day, man.
You too. Going back to the box, and I'll say the same thing. Look, we got folks saying George Floyd died of every damn thing from drowning. 9 minutes. I mean, regardless of what you think caused George Floyd, about to say Joe Biden, regardless of what you think caused the death of about to say it again, George Floyd, it's off topic. That's why I'm having a hard time. Sin. Thank you with that underwater scenario. Thank you, Cian. Thank you for that gift. Appreciate your generosity. Regardless of what you believe took the life of George Floyd, there is absolutely no excuse for that man to sit there on his neck, back, whatever you think the guy is doing with his hands in his pocket. There is zero excuse for what Derek Chauvin is doing on video, even if George Floyd lived and had a perfectly healthy life. What Derek Chauvin was doing was not trained to him. It was not part of policing. At some point, you can't just freeze in time. You cannot just do an audition for the Disney film Frozen on somebody's damn back for 8 to 9 minutes. That is inexcusable, even if George Floyd was perfectly healthy to this day. At some point, if they're resisting arrest, you do what you got to do. You handcuff him. If not, he was handcuffed already. But if he's still resisting, then you hog tie him. But you don't just freeze in time on the guy's back or neck for 8 or 9 minutes. There is no defense for that. Fentanyl, COVID, you name it. There's no defense for that. For why that guy just stood there like that for that length of time. And to a lesser degree, there's no defense for why his fellow officers stood there and watched him. Last but not least, if you watch the video, when paramedics show up, they had to actually ask Derek Chauvin to get off the man. And what Derek Chauvin got off of was clearly a body that was unconscious, if not lifeless. Why is that? You're on the guy, at some point, you notice the guy under you is no longer resisting. Clearly, at some point, he stopped resisting, stopped talking. Why not get off the guy and check on him? Why not listen to your fellow officers who are making that suggestion? Derek Chauvin is a bad guy no matter how George Floyd died. Period. He is a bad guy in terms of his policing. I assume we're going to suggest that both his partner and his superiors are all lying when they state that what he was doing was wrong. Maybe they're just lying. Maybe they're doing it for the liberal media. Maybe they've been bought and paid for. But no one can defend standing on somebody for 8 to 9 minutes and not even so much as checking on them to verify they're still in the land of the living. He's on video doing that. Even if Derek Chauvin was loaded with fentanyl, lungs about to expire from COVID, you can't sit on the guy for 8 or 9 minutes. Maybe if George Floyd was passing away from fentanyl, Derek Chauvin could have flipped him over and gave him Narcan. But you're too busy riding the guy like you're some sort of cowboy. So there is no excuse for Derek Chauvin, no matter how George Floyd expired. There's no excuse for that. And you have that on video. The autopsy doesn't matter. What you are seeing is a crime. All we're debating is what the crime led up to. Did it lead up to him dying or not? We can debate that, even though the autopsy and everybody in their right mind disagrees. We can debate that. There is no debate for riding on a guy for 8 or 9 minutes without even checking for his welfare. There's no debate on that. It's wrong every way until sundown. Look it in the comments. George Floyd was unalive, but that has nothing to do with Trump's presidency. Right. I'm not going to, I'm not one of the individuals who blame Trump for every damn thing. I'm not going to blame Trump for what happened to George Floyd. Even though I'm not a fan of Trump supporting stop and frisk, we talked about that. Real quick, going back to the box, the autopsy does matter, but doesn't excuse sitting on his neck. That's all I'm going with. That's all. Because if you're going to say George Floyd died of anything else, then we have to tackle the question of maybe he would not have died of that if Derek Chauvin wasn't riding him like a cowboy. If you show up to the scene and somebody is overdosing, and you're 100% certain they're overdosing, but instead of giving them Narcan, you ride on their back for 8 or 9 minutes, are you not responsible to some degree for their death? So regardless of how Derek Chauvin, or regardless of how George Floyd expired, 8 to 9 minutes on the back is inexcusable. Even if it's fentanyl, or perhaps COVID-19, which at this point the medical community disagrees with. Look it in the comments, and I agree 100% with what Moving Mountain states. It's inhumane, period. That's it. That's it. What he did was inhumane. May he spend those 20 years thinking about what he did. Perhaps he can do that in the child line. Show up taking a knee. Put a picture of Colin Kaepernick in his cell on the wall. He seems to like knees, don't he? All right, going back to the box. Appreciate you folks tuned in real quick. We'll go back to the box and we'll go straight to the FSU, thank you for holding on. I agreed that it was inhumane to stay on his neck. Then that's it. That's it. I don't need to know the rest. FSU, good afternoon.
Hey, Tim, how are you, man?
I'm doing good. Talking about concern of a loss to the opposition. Regardless of who you want to win in November, what concerns you most about the other guy?
Just lack of policies and just overall wellness for the economy. I think the Republican Party is on the wrong side of women's rights. I think that's going to be a big decider for this election. So obviously I'm supportive of that. They're on the wrong side of immigration. If you don't think that closing the border will have a negative impact to our economy, then you are divorced from reality. I mean, they contribute, they pay taxes too. You know, sales tax is a thing, even if income tax isn't, if they're working off the books.
Wait, you believe right now the Republican Party is on the wrong side of immigration?
100%. If the plan is to close the border, that will weaken our economy 100%. If you mean any economist will tell you that, or anybody with common sense will tell you that.
Wow. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of liberal cities, thanks to the work of Governor Greg Abbott and to a lesser degree Ron DeSantis. A lot of liberal cities are not even happy about the immigration issue. I don't know. I agree with you on the first thing you stated. I can't remember what it was, but immigration, I don't know if women's rights. I do agree that the Republicans.
I mean, it's not just that. I mean, access to anything, the Republican Party, they restrict access to health care. That's a huge thing that affects all of America. So they're on the wrong side of that too. They're on the wrong side of fair wages. Anybody wants to raise minimum wages, they're gonna, not be a fan of that. It's just common sense stuff. If you want to be pro-life, then I think we should have some of the best orphanages in the world. You want all the kids to be born, but then you don't want to take care of them once they're born.
I agree with that 100%. And I will say on YouTube, someone looks like Squanchy, I can't pronounce the name, says, Roger says, does this man really know what the hell women's rights are about? There's a lot of folks.
I mean, I do. I know the youngest child is ever born was 21 weeks and some days. So I think at 12 weeks, that's a natural line. I think a woman should recognize a birth at that point and be able to make a decision about it. I mean, I don't know everything. Of course, I'm not a doctor, but I do know that. And I think taking away women's rights is insane when they make up more than half of the country. So,
now you raise a good point. Women are losing the right to have an abortion in a host of states throughout the country.
More importantly, if this ever made it to a ballot, like flat out, hey, you pro-life or pro-choice. Pro-choice. I mean, pro-choice is going to be six. It's going to be a true landslide. I know people have said, "Hey, this won in the landslide." Most states, if they ever let it get to a ballot, it'll obviously lose.
I agree with you. However, by proxy, it is making it to the ballot. If you vote for Trump, the rolling back of Roe v. Wade is likely to get stronger. If you vote for Biden, it's likely to be overturned. I mean, it's as simple as that. If you vote Democrat and you get a super majority, they're going to codify women's abortion rights. If you vote for the right side of the aisle, you've already had Mike Pence, Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell, and Trump admit that a federal abortion ban could actually happen. Mike Pence stated when he was running for president that was the goal. So it is up for a ballot. When you vote right or left, you're voting on abortion rights.
Yeah, and then the last thing, I know I said a lot, but the last thing is just, once you choose between Trump and Biden, ultimately, we've seen a president lose an election and not want to leave office. I mean, no matter what you say, there's never been a protest on January 6th. There's never been an issue to that level with transfer of power. So to allow somebody another opportunity to not leave office again is just insanity to me. You've mentioned this, he's not tried to steal a ballot box or a county. He literally tried to steal several states with the fake elector scheme. And I don't know if it's him directly, but indirectly people operating on his behalf tried to do that. and it's just I just would never allow, even if I was a supporter, which I'm not, I'd never allow him to get that opportunity again.
All right, FSU, I do appreciate you holding. I did see you in there. Thank you very much. As always, good conversation. All right, going back to the box, and I see a bunch of folks certainly agreed with my last caller, said the calls are right. I saw something I wanted to tackle on YouTube. Someone says if Biden stays in office, America's going to split and we will have a civil war soon. Roger, wow, that's strong. And I'm not going to, I'm hoping you're wrong. I'm thinking you're wrong 80%, but I don't believe you're totally out of the park. I mean, it could happen. So I'm gonna say about 80%. Take care of our homeless veterans, but it's on YouTube. Deep Patterson says, take care of our homeless and our veterans. Our government seems to find billions to send other countries. What about our country? We don't give a damn about our country. Let me make something clear to you folks. Because this comes up on every damn show. As opposed to sending money overseas, take care of the folks here. There is no money in taking care of the folks that are suffering in America. At the end of the day, this is a damn capitalist country, and we promote capitalism, damn it. If there is no money to be made, there is no interest in doing it. Helping out the Ukraine has a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Whether we get involved in their import-export market, whether it allows us to sell weapons for profit and claim the money back later, there is money to be made in war. There is no money to be made in helping out homeless people. I don't give a damn if we stop helping Ukraine out entirely. Nobody's going to give a damn about helping out the homeless people. We never have been concerned with the poor because there is no money to be made off of it. So the idea of, well, if you bring the money home, you can take care of the poor, they're not going to do that. Nobody's making money off of that. Why do you think every damn social policy that comes down the line, folks in this country go, well, who's going to pay for that? We got kids that need free lunch in school. Who's going to pay for that? Homeless, who's going to eat? Because nobody wants to share. That is how a capitalist environment works. It's all about me, me, me. Didn't Michael Douglas tell it to you best in the movie? What is that? Greed is good? Isn't that how it works? Greed is good in a capitalist society. There is no money to be made helping out poor people. That is why every time there's a social policy presented to help out poor people, it fails in America. Universal health care. Look how hard it was to pass that shit. You talk about helping out the homeless, welfare, food stamps, housing assistance, all of that shit helps out poor people. It doesn't make capitalists money. So they're against it. In fact, it costs them money, which is why they often yell, well, that's socialist. I don't want to do that. But if you're talking about expanding the military or getting involved in an overseas conflict, you don't hear the same argument. Even though it is indeed socialism there too, but we profit from that. We make money from doing that. We only are concerned with helping people out when we can profit from it. If we don't profit from it, we don't want to do it. So the idea that Trump is going to come in office, stop helping the Ukraine, stop sending money to Israel, and all of a sudden the poor people in this country are going to start seeing assistance as a flat out piece of bullshit. And that's not to bash Trump. That's the American way. We don't help out people at the bottom. We don't do that. That's socialism. We've made it clear we don't like socialism. If you wanted that shit, you would have elected Bernie Sanders. So this whole thing about helping out people in this country first, notice when they say that, stop sending money to the Ukraine and help out Americans first, they never fill in the blanks of what they actually want to do. Because they're not going to do a damn thing about it. You might be willing to purchase a few more aircraft carriers or a few F-35s because you make money off of war, which is what, well, yeah, let's help out the veterans because we're making money off the conflicts. But in regards to the actual people in this country that are struggling, the housing problem and all of that other shit, you don't ever hear that mentioned. Help out Americans, my ass. It's your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Appreciate the 114,000 likes. You enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle. You know how we run the program. Uncensored. What we do all day, every day. See you tomorrow. For my YouTubers, wow. Did not expect an audience this size. I'm quite impressed. Thank you for you folks on YouTube. Certainly, I did have a super chat come in. I only got one. That's about normal. So appreciate those who do show your boys some love. Real quick in the comments, Obamacare never helped out the poor. All it did was penalize the poor for not being able to afford health care coverage. Fact is, there is no desire to give the poor health care coverage in this country, regardless if Obama got elected or not. Before Obama, the poor didn't have health care coverage. I didn't hear the Bush administration suggesting that they should have it. So if you want to say Obamacare sucked, show me the other examples that were better before Obama came along. Obama got elected in 2008. That's over 200 years after the fucking country was created. All of that time, we point to Obama as giving a bad universal health care policy. What about the 200 years before him? There was no desire to do that. Obama's universal health care is about the closest we've gotten to showing some love. Joseph Kuhn. Thank you with the super chat. Joseph Kuhn. I do appreciate that. Peace to you too, my brother. Thank you. Good shit, Tim. Alter Ego says, nice work as usual. I cannot do this without you. Your opinions mean just as much, if not more, than my own. Catch you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central. Thank you.